Good evening, RPG Limit Break and fellow free enterprise fans. Welcome to the first official league match of the Highway to the Zemus Zone Free Enterprise League. My name is Maggiethekatt. I am one of the commentators for the match tonight, and I am joined by our wonderful restream team. Tonight we have Invenerable restreaming for us. Elias is doing the key item tracking, and I am joined in the commentator's booth by Tirasu. How you doing tonight, Tirasu?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Excited to finally get the actual league matches started outside of the qualifiers.
Yeah, absolutely. Previous to this, we had 6 qualifier matches in which anyone could enter, and the top 32 participants moved on. We did have 7 participants from last year's league who were kind of grandfathered in, and so there were the top 25 entrants from the qualifier races are moving on to the actual league. And so we see tonight we're featuring fleury14, Error, moonblazewolf, and gamingwithawraith in the very first of our league matches.
It's going to be an interesting race, and it looks like we're already on.
Indeed we are, and it looks like we're starting with none other than Palom, the Quack Kid, and he's joined by another Black Mage, Rydia.
That is an interesting start with the Baron key. This is a very squishy early team, but a Palom, when he reaches, when he reaches the right level, he'll get Virus and Quake much earlier than that Rydia. But if you can find a Sylph, Leviathan, or Bahamut summon for Rydia, get a little bit of MP on her, either one can absolutely carry this early game.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the flags that we have here, among others, we do have the Hobbs flag on, which will allow our runners to go to the front of Mount Hobbs to get a random summon for Rydia if they choose to do so. Anything except for Leviathan and Bahamut is available to them, so they could get something like the Sylph Summon or one of the elemental summons like Ifrit or Titan, which could all be very, very useful once Rydia gets enough MP to cast those.
Speaking of Sylph, all our runners starting in Baron, and in the inn is a Sylph Summon. Now, Sylph is amazing because when you have enough MP to cast it, it costs nothing.
Yeah, it's kind of a glitch or a feature of that spell. I think it takes 25 MP to cast, and you do have to have the MP to cast it. So Rydia doesn't have enough MP at the start. She starts at level 1 with only, I believe, 10 MP. But once she gains 1 or 2 levels, she'll have enough MP to cast that spell. And as long as she has that 25 MP to cast it, it doesn't actually take any MP. So it's a free cast and an infinite cast once she has that initial 25 MP to cast it.
That is correct. She starts with 10 MP and quickly will get that 25 MP. Another note, they found a Lilith Rod in Baron, which will increase their wisdom stat by 5. So that Sylph is going to do more damage. On top of that, in this early game, the damage from Sylph is also going to turn around and heal your party. So you're not going to need a white mage quite as much. We also saw Rosa was in the Baron Inn, guarded by King Queen Eblon. Without knowing what's behind it, though, with your current party, a little too scary to do that.
Yeah, King Queen Eblon is a free fight, but that first fight in Baron Inn is pretty much a free fight anyway. It's a very low HP spot, and there's a second fight behind it, which we don't know what it is until we get through that first fight. So it looks like everybody is going to hold off on that fight for now. Since we did start with the Baron key, it looked like gamingwithawraith did go into the Baron weapon and armor shop and found charm arrows, which could potentially be pretty useful. They're one of the best arrows that are going to be available to buy in this flag set. So if we can find a decent bow, those can be used by either of these party members, and there are certain monsters and bosses that are actually weak to those charm arrows.
Charm arrow is certainly some of the better arrows you could find. Moonblazewolf in Antlion Cave did find Artemis arrows, though, and Error is going to take a look at what our summon from Hobbs, and that's a Titan.
That's probably the best summon that they could have gotten, especially since they already found the Sylph Summon in a chest to give to Rydia. Titan's probably going to have the best overall damage output available for Rydia in this early game.
It certainly will. Ooh, a second Rosa guarded by Karate.
A very mage-heavy seed we're seeing here. We might very well be seeing reflect strats if our runners decide to keep all of these mages right until the end, up to the Zemus fight.
Oh, we'll have to wait and see what else is available to him. But yeah, 2 Rosas, a Rydia, and a Palom. That's a lot of magic. And on the flip side of that coin, a lot of squishy party members. So some of those physical bosses could prove to be nasty.
Moonblazewolf, having made his way down into the bottom of Antlion Cave, we're going to see what is awaiting him down here, and that is Demist. This spot does not have very many hit points, so should not be too difficult for Moonblazewolf to get through. He's going to be rewarded with potentially another key item, and of course, he'll be able to return to Mist Village to visit Rydia's mother and get potentially another key item after defeating this Demist.
Yeah, the Antlion spot has about 1,000 HP. Kind of just depends on what's there, but usually 1,000 HP. But Demist, you know, with a mage party and you don't have access to any of your more powerful spells, it's still going to be a little time consuming.
Especially when it's turning into mist like we see here. We see Moonblaze utilizing this time to buff up his Palom. That will increase his spell power, so maybe he'll be able to get a couple of powerful spells off here after Demist turns back into its dragon form.
Error and Flurry finishing off their karate fights. A little dicey there for both of them.
But they are rewarded with their Rosa. If either of them picked up the charm arrows or find those Artemis arrows and a decent bow, this Demist fight that's waiting for them down in Antlion Cave may go a little bit smoother for them with the addition of that Rosa in their party.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but does Demist count as a dragon? I thought it didn't.
It doesn't, but just having the additional firepower of someone who can, you know, like I know Rosa is usually considered a better archer, and she does have the aim ability, will hopefully be able to help them out with that Demist fight.
Certainly would be the case. Rosa with aim, as long as she's not in that middle slot, is actually really good with a bow and arrow.
Yeah, something that some people don't realize is that if you put Rosa in that middle spot and then use aim, you can overflow her accuracy, which actually causes her to miss because her accuracy, I believe, gets so high that it causes her to actually miss. So you either want to have her in the middle slot and then not aim, or not have her in the middle slot and then aim to keep her accuracy as high as possible.
That is certainly the case. Moonblazewolf finishes off that Demist, now learning Sylph for Rydia, but gets rewarded with a magma key. So, sad, no hook today.
Well, we can't have a hook seed every one of these league races that we see, I suppose.
Blame Invenerable.
I mean, this is an invulnerable seed, so...
It certainly is. Alright, we see our runners still kind of on different paths. Flurry is now taking on their Demist, does have that Rosa, so should have a much easier time. And we have Error heading into Fabul.
Moonblaze taking a pit stop here in Troya to do some shopping. He will probably be turning in that Demist very soon in Mist Village to see if that has any value after he's finished with this shopping here.
More than likely going to check that Demist, and I would guess probably going to head straight underground. Underground, you know, going to have a couple of much easier key items to get and be able to get a lot more information. Oh, and we have some vanilla on Error's side.
Oh, indeed. This is Gauntlet. This is going to be all 6 of the battles that you would normally fight here, consisting of 3 of these guard battles with the dark imps and the water hags, and then a gargoyles fight. Usually considered kind of a more annoying fight than anything.
Moonblazewolf, that D-miss paying off with a Leviathan summon.
Not progress, not a key item, but definitely going to be value for his powering up his Iridia that he started with.
Leviathan, a little bit more expensive of it to summon, but for most of this early game, that's going to really tear through these bosses. Meanwhile, Fleury and gamingwithawraith both have finished their D-miss, now have their Magma Keys. And Kaipoma strikes again on Moonblazewolf's side.
Yeah, these NPCs are often referred to as the true bosses of Free Enterprise, and we see a Fusoya laying in the bed here in Kaipo. If any of our runners happen to find a sand ruby, they can go wake that Fusoya up, and he will be a rather valuable addition to their already mage-heavy party.
Certainly will be. He'll come. You'll still have to power him up by killing some more bosses, but be a little bit easier to get some of those spells early on, especially Nuke, White, Cure 3, Cure 4. All of that would be very useful. Look at a black shirt in Silvera. That's actually a decent piece of gear you can throw on your child Rydia, or if you have it, Rosa. Even though it's a black shirt, it works. Oh wait, no, you can't equip it on Rosa, but the black shirt's interesting because it doesn't increase your black magic power, your wisdom stat. Instead, it increases your will stat, which is more for white magic.
Yes, it's kind of misnamed, so even though only the black magic using characters can use it, it increases their magic using stat. It can be used on characters like Tella and Fusoya, so if they do happen to recruit that Fusoya, it could potentially be useful on him.
Certainly is the case. It's a nice piece of gear early on. We see Fleury, first one to head underground.
Yeah, we'll see what he decides to do first. Looks like he may be doing some shopping. That's pretty standard to check the towns and the item checks and the item shops here in the shops that are available once the underground opens up.
We do get a job dwarf check, and it is a fitness trainer today. Ooh. Tomra having some awesome items. Hourglass 1s, Cure 3s, and Bacchus.
That is a loaded shop there in Tomra. Yes, those are all very, very useful items.
Not quite sure how useful Bacchus is going to be for this party quite yet. It'll kind of depend on what type of weapons you can find. But certainly not something to overlook. Illusions in Eggert. Illusions are actually a really useful item to have because they give you the blink status. And a lot of bosses only do physical attacks, so having that blink means you can pretty much negate the threat of a boss.
There are several bosses that those illusions are pretty useful against. Baigen, Mom Bomb, Mylon Z all come to mind. So yeah, those can definitely be very useful if you have the money to spend to get several of them.
Thankfully, illusions are fairly cheap, so it's pretty easy to afford those. I will say, Baigen, they do work okay on, but his arms still do that drain attack or vampire, which goes through the illusions. So you gotta be a little careful with that. And
Very true.
More arty arrows in the Fey March.
Yeah, we see our runners taking different paths here already. Fleury did just a couple of egg grinds, it looked like, and now is in the Sylph Cave, is going to talk to Yang. Doesn't look like he has the pan yet, so he's only going to be able to do a single check here. Meanwhile, Moonblazewolf is down in the Fey March and is going to be checking which bosses are available here.
He also got darkness from the free key item here in the Fey March. That really opens up this seed.
Yeah, so this is a kind of a classic Invenerable seed where everything is open right away within the first 20 minutes, 15 minutes of the seed. Our runners have lots and lots of choices and have to decide which path they're going to take.
The two bosses on Moonblaze's side for the Fey March was the Baron Guards and Bahamut. Both of those are fairly easy. Probably just wants to get some quick experience using some sirens just to make those bosses a little bit faster. For the Baron Guards, you'll want to get that hourglass, but they will get an attack off beforehand, which means 2 attacks and this low level probably going to die. Meanwhile, Gaming with the Wraith underground as well, checking Dwarf Castle for any items can find.
This is an interesting play. There are lots of item checks here in Dwarf Castle, but they're kind of spread out. So it does take a little bit of extra time to get all of those item checks. Looks like they did get some nice things, and definitely anything that's not going to be useful can be sold here. I'm seeing things like Dragoon Helm, Cat Claws, things like that for characters who are not available. So looks like there were some nice items here. Even if we don't have the characters to use them, they can be turned into gold.
On the flip side of the coin, though, those are some items that if you do happen to run into those characters and you sell them, you're going to feel really, really bad.
That's very, very true. And with that early darkness crystal available, we do have a character up on the moon that our runners will be able to go get very soon if they so choose to do so.
All right, moonblazewolf looks like he's going to head over to the Baron checks, probably just do the inn, maybe go through it. We have Error checking out Kaipo at the moment, seeing that Fu, and Fleury is now dealing with the grind fight that is the Football Gauntlet, actually choosing to reset out of it, so... Era now getting his Leviathan summon, so that's going to be really nice for that Rydia.
Looks like Gaming with the Wraith is going to go back and maybe crack some more eggs here.
It makes sense. With this early mage party, you're going to want some extra experience. They have low HP, and even just surviving can be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, and with Palom as one of the characters, he does get very powerful spells very early. So even if you only do 1 or 2 of these to get Palom up to Quake, and get Rydia enough MP to, cast that Leviathan 1 or 2 times, that's going to really power up this party significantly.
So Moonblazewolf is taking advantage of a useful thing with King Queen Eblon. If you kill the king, the queen just kills herself.
Yeah, you can just wait this fight out after what the script of this fight is that the King of Eblon will cast Fire 2, Queen of Eblon will cast Fire 1. After they've each cast their spells, I think about 3 times on your party, they just disappear. But if, as we've seen now both on Moonblaze and Error's screen, if you kill the king, the queen just disappears. So you can kind of expedite that whole process if you do manage to take the king out.
Evil Wall is behind him, and we see Moonblazewolf takes a wipe to that. The spot does have pretty decent physical attack for this point in the game, and as you can see, those mages just can't take a beating.
Yeah, that's another spot where the illusions would come in pretty handy if any of our runners happen to pick those up.
Certainly is the case. I saw an illusion on Moonblazewolf's side, so he's going to set this up again, and then probably immediately try to get an illusion on one of his 2 characters. But again, Evil Wall is pretty rude.
And welcome, Natara. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome to Natara and all of her friends.
And we see Natara being her usual self. But thank you so much for the raid. We now have Gaming with a Wraith checking out the Fey March as well, checking out that item shop. Gonna now have their Darkness Crystal, so gotta make all the choices.
Yeah, and Gaming with a Wraith did some egg grinding right before coming down here, so we'll see if they decide to do either of these semi-free bosses, or mostly free bosses, the guards are anyway, if they have something like hourglasses or coffins available now that they're down here.
Certainly is the case. Also, I forgot to mention, Sheila 1 had an Earth Crystal for Fleury.
Definitely more potential progress there, so even more choices for our runners to make, and it looks like the Baron Inn spot had the pass for Moonblazewolf.
No Walk of Shame tonight, and now has that Rosa, so more magic power for him and a dedicated white mage. Fleury now on the demon wall as well, managing to get that blink cast with Rosa, and Rosa able to tank a hit. And the evil wall's down, now going to be rewarded with their own pass. Gaming with the Wraith is taking on these Baron guards, and as you saw, that was a lot of damage from those guards.
Oh, he reset out of that, but it looked like his Rydia may have been able to get that hourglass off.
I think the Rydia would have got the hourglass off. I couldn't quite tell, but I think they would have still gotten one more action in, which means that Rydia would have died.
Yeah, they may have still had another attack queued up, even after getting the hourglass up, so that's entirely possible.
Well, the Leviathan spot is a very fast spot, so just a little unfortunate, but hopefully later on when you have a full party, be able to take care of that spot nice and easily. Moonblazewolf is taking on the Fabul Gauntlet. Probably going to be fairly disappointed when he sees what his reward is.
Fleury is diving down into using the Baron key now that we got at the start of this seed, and is going to be checking the Baron Castle spot. There's actually two checks down in here: the Baron King spot, and then Odin can potentially hold a key item as well. So we'll see if there's any reward for following this Baron key.
Certainly is two key item checks, but it is a bit of a lengthy check for both of them.
Yeah, and the Odin spot is a lot stronger than the Baron King spot. Can be very rude. So we'll see if it's a free-ish boss. I say free-ish because they're still very low level. So even if it's something like Water Hag, that's going to hit very, very hard in that spot. But at least they can find out what the boss is if they decide to go down and check it at this point.
Certainly, information is always a powerful thing to have. Even if you can't take on whatever's in Odin, knowing what's there means you can know when you'll be able to. And to respond to Invenerable, White Shirt is great, but it doesn't matter. If it's behind Fabul Gauntlet, it is never worth it.
Yeah, that Fabul Gauntlet takes a long time no matter where it is.
Alright, Fleury finishes up that Octomam fight, now heading straight for the King, going to be rewarded with potential key item and a character once he beats them. And it's Dr. Luge today.
This is not a very difficult fight, even when it's in a slightly harder location. At this point, since his mages have things like we're seeing Leviathan and Quake already on Rydia and Palom, this is going to be pretty easy for this party to take down in this spot.
Certainly is going to be the case. Doesn't have very much HP, and it's split between, I believe, 4 forms. So, quick, easy, done.
Yeah, the most annoying thing about this fight is the scripting, as we see Dr. Lugay and Balnab talking here at the start of the fight, so it kind of delays the fight getting going.
Alright, moonblazewolf gets his white shirt after the Fabul Gauntlet, and now has his own Earth Crystal. And Error now cracking some eggs themselves. gamingwithawraith is also taking on that Fabul Gauntlet. Looks like on battle 4, so should be on battle 5 now.
And looks like Fleury is just about to take down this Dr. Lugay. We're about to see which character is waiting for them in the Baron throne room here.
Let's go pour them. A Foo!
Another Foo, sorry, we've already seen one waiting for them in the bed in Kaipo. Now they have one readily available. If that Baron key was the first key item that everybody started with, so if anybody else wants to follow that Baron key, they can all get a Fusoya from the Baron throne room if they want it.
Certainly is the case. Foo, once we can get its look, we'll see how powerful that Foo is, because the Foo challenge is on, so he's going to start with 500 HP and just a couple of spells. And as you beat bosses, he's going to get 100 more HP all the way up to 1900, and then 3 spells per boss.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's done too many bosses yet. It's pretty common if they find a Foo and they want to power Foo up to do bosses like in the original D-Mist spot and the original Octomom spot, potentially go up to Mod Ordeals because there's 3 bosses up there. So we'll see if they decide they want to power their Foo up to get any more spells now that Fleury's seen what spell list Foo has.
Certainly is the case. I would expect, with a Foo, you're going to want to probably run Ordeals. That's 3 bosses. Your characters are now strong enough to realistically take that on, unless there's something nasty, like a Valvalis or something. But it'll be a quick and easy way to get that Foo fully powered.
Fleury also got the Twin Harp from that Baron pot check, so there's potentially going to be music in our future if Fleury decides to follow that up. Meanwhile, it looks like Moonblaze has decided to follow up on the Earth Crystal check and is up in in the Tower of Zot.
That's an interesting play. We'll get him 2 more characters and another potential key item, but this is a pretty lengthy check for just that.
Yeah, and it's interesting that almost everyone has their Darkness Crystal now. Fleury being the only one who has. Wyvern. This is the Odin spot, right, on Fleury's screen?
That is Odin Wyvern. That is yeah, that is death.
That's a trolly spot for Wyvern there.
He did put a cursed ring on Rosa. Gonna see, he looks like he's gonna make another attempt at it.
Yeah, turned the battle speed all the way down. I assume he's got Star Veils or something in his inventory, so we'll see if he can get through this.
Alright, we have an Asura in the Mega Sister spot. That's a little annoying. gamingwithawraith now picking up that Leviathan summon for himself, and looks like he's heading over to Kaipo. Error also taking on the Baron in fight, making quick work of the King Queen, and now going to be taking on that Evil Wall.
Fleury is back in this Wyvern spot, has got at least 1 Star Veil up, 2 Star Veils up.
That's 3. He did put a curse ring on Rosa, and then lowered the battle speed to 6.
Did manage to get Star Veils up on everyone except for that middle Rosa that had the cursed ring on. And this is interesting. He's summoning with his Iridia, which is going to result in Wyvern countering with another Mega Nuke. And since he still has all of those Star Veils up on his living characters, it's going to just bounce off of all of his characters and hit Wyvern again.
It's a great strategy to use when you have that many Star Veils and you're dealing with Wyvern. Do summons, because he will counter. And he takes out that early Wyvern at Odin. Very impressive.
That was very nicely done. Nicely timed with the using... Oh, and there's our Adamant. Wow, that is what our go mode. That is what we need along with the Legend Sword in order to make our crystal tonight.
And it's probably going to be a little bit before other runners go to this Baron, especially Gaming with a Wraith, who is now heading up to the moon. Wyvern at Odin, you wanted a good troll from Invin. There it is.
Indeed. You know, since we started out so free with an early Magma Key and early Darkness Crystal, this was the troll that we needed.
Looks like moonblazewolf finished up with that Asura fight. And now Flurry heading into the Fame Arch. Hasn't gotten that Darkness Crystal, but with that Fu and a full party, should have a pretty good time taking on the two bosses down here. And then we also see a Yang on moonblazewolf's side, so our first physical fighter.
Yeah, definitely. Flurry's about to get the Darkness Crystal, and we may be able to see what other items are down here in the Ashura and Leviathan spot. And we see another Fusoria up at the top of Mount Zot, or Tower of Zot on moonblazewolf's screen.
That's a triple Fu seed. I mean, I'm glad Invenerable gave us a nice troll, but it's still an Invenerable seed. And we have a Tella up on the moon.
Well, it still means that if they want to do a D-Machine grind, they could potentially go do Ordeals and do that D-Machine grind if they want to.
D-Machine grind would be a nice way to get some experience. Ooh, Dark Imps at the top of Tower of Zot. Not exactly where you'd want to see them, but free experience.
Flurry heading down to the bosses here in the Fame Arch. More than likely going to at least attempt the guards since he's got a full party. Oh, it looks like going for Bahamut first.
Makes sense. His party is currently at 1 HP, and other than the count from Bahamut for Mega Nuke, he doesn't do a whole lot. Alright, moonblazewolf is through that Dark Imp fight, and Error is now fighting Dr. Luge and Baron. Going to be rewarded with a mop and a twin harp as well.
Indeed, we'll see if Error decides to go down to the Odin spot. Moonblaze gets through Tower of Zot and is rewarded with a Bahamut. So, again, no actual progress, but powering up the Rudia that he has in his power even more.
Certainly is the case. Bahamut is a nice summon to have for Rydia. It's the most powerful summon, non-elemental, and pierces magic defense. Except for Valvalis, you know, at the right spot, because she is just rude.
Valvalis at Baron in one spot, apparently, evades everything.
Yes, this is true. And looks like Fleury is having some trouble with this Bahamut. Well, it goes down anyways.
That spot does have a lot of hit points, so it looked like they were just relying on reflected Mega Nukes, and it just took several Mega Nukes to get through all the hit points in that spot. Rewarded with a light sword, not quite the legend sword. It's a very nice piece of equipment for Cecil, but no Cecil in sight.
There's not very many places left Cecil could be, so at this point, probably would sell the light sword for money if you needed it. Alright, moonblazewolf is now in the Baron fights as well. And that Fu with Lightning 3 making quick work of that Octomam. And I think Fleury is going to take on the Baron guards here at that Leviathan spot. This time around with a full party, even as long as he can get that hourglass off, shouldn't have any more trouble with this. There's the hourglass, only going to take 2 hits. Granted, anyone that's hit by it's probably dead.
It looks like he doesn't have coffins, so he's just going to have to rely on doing straight damage to defeat these guards, and this spot does have a lot of hit points, so it's going to take a bit to get through this spot, but now that that hourglass is off, this party should not have any trouble taking this spot down.
Certainly is the case. Now that the hourglass is off, even without coffins, it's going to take a minute, but
Error got through the Baron Castle fight, got that twin harp that was in the pot in the bottom of Baron Castle, but looks like decided not to check the Odin spot, is instead raising the big whale. We'll see if they're going to go clear moon, if they're just going up there to check the character and the item shop. We'll see what Error decides to do from here.
probably going to check the character, get a quick check on the item shop, but bouncing out of that Odin, probably going to be a while before Error decides to go check that again. Also, we have gamingwithawraith now in the Baron fight, taking care of Octomam fairly easily. And moonblazewolf on the second fight of Dr. Luge.
Fleury gets through the Baron guards at Leviathan here, and we're about to find out our first look at what is at this spot.
Also got some pretty good experience. Oh boy.
It's everybody's favorite key item.
If only there was an Edward in sight. Oh, wait, that flag's not on.
That's
Moonblazewolf now has his second mop and debating on who to trade out for it. And chooses to part ways with Rosa.
I see the chat is a little bit upset by this. You know, I can see it because Fu has got Nuke, and he's now got a party full of characters who can cast Nuke, and then you're Yang, who can be your alchemist, if that's what he's trying to do for the Z fight.
It's a very interesting choice because you also have to keep in mind Fu only has 190 MP, which equates to 3 nukes and 1 cure 4.
Yeah, very true. So unless they find a Soma drop or they want to use ethers or something like that, it does limit how useful Fusoya can be, or you have to get through the Zemus fight, before he runs out of MP.
Moonblazewolf also choosing not to take a look at that Odin spot, but is going to give something that I'm pretty sure chat's all excited about.
Yeah, it's going to be music time real soon here on Moonblaze's screen. He is still poisoned from that Dr. Lugay fight. That may be why he decided to go up to the Magnus Cave now. It's pretty common to want to go into this fight at the Magnus Cave when you're low on HP or have a lot of characters that are dead, because it just expedites this fight. It gets through the cutscene a little bit quicker.
Certainly is the case. By the time he makes it to the Dark Elf first part of this, his characters should all be at 1 HP, and the first part of the fight should be skipped pretty quickly. At least skip part of it. And Error now rewarded with his own spoon.
The spoon isn't going to be very useful in this seed, unfortunately. Edward can't equip it, and we haven't seen an edge, but it does still count as a key item. So when our characters are attempting to get 2 items for the purposes of getting double XP, the spoon does still count for that purpose.
Gaming with Wraith now rewarded with his own mop, ditching the Tella right away. And it looks like Fleury is going to make their way to the moon. Oh right, one of his foos was not poisoned because he got him after the fight. So gonna have to probably sit through the entire cutscene.
Yeah, this is a scripted cutscene here with this Dark Elf. This is not actually necessarily the boss that Moonblaze is going to fight. This is just kind of a scripted cutscene that you have to sit through. If your characters are dead, then you don't have to watch that cutscene, or if they're all wearing metal gear that renders them paralyzed. But enough of that. We're about to hear music, so we're going to be quiet for a minute so we can all listen to what this beautiful harp music is going to be tonight.
Ooh. Gaming with a Wraith is now taking on the Dwarf Castle and runs into one of the Milan fights, while Moonblazewolf runs into the Rubicant fight. And for anyone that couldn't tell what the music it is Cosmo Canyon, one of the best songs from Final Fantasy VII.
This Rubicant fight on Moonblaze's Wolf could be a little bit tricky. This spot has very high magic defense, and so as we can see, even Fu doing Ice 2 against Rubicant was only doing around 300 to 400 HP in damage. And that Bahamut that he tried to queue up with Rydia probably would have pierced through that magic defense, but unfortunately Rydia got hit with the glare and is getting hit with glare again before she can get that Bahamut summon off.
This Rubicant does not like Rydia tonight, but Milan Z is the first fight in Dwarf Castle. Pretty nice fight. Worst case, you could always throw up illusions and then he becomes pretty much worthless. And music leads to an Artemis bow.
Well, it's a very nice piece of equipment, but for the long walk in here and the cutscenes, I'm not sure that that's exactly what Moonblaze was looking for.
Well, at this point in time, Yang still needs a bunch of levels to realistically come online. An Artemis bow on a Rosa, on the other hand, could be the key to get through some of these more difficult fights. And then we have a Moon Boss as the second with a cane.
Getting a few more melee-oriented characters here available if our runners want to take them. Yeah, and it looks like Gaming with a Wraith is deciding to take that Kane in favor of double Rosa.
That makes sense. One Rosa is more than enough, and we have a Pale Down. Another fairly simple boss, again, can be cheesed by illusions. Unless you're brave enough to summon against it, and then you will meet some very painful consequences.
Fleury has gone all the way down to the bottom of the lunar subterrane, saved, and now is going into the fight at the lunar D spot and found the Pain Man, Dark Knight Cecil.
Ooh.
Yeah.
A little too fast. And while the damage isn't super high, needs to be able to get off a Cure 3 or something on probably that food to survive it. Meanwhile, moonblazewolf runs into Baigen.
Yeah, he's up here on Mount Ordeals in his party. This is going to be pretty easy to get through. Fleury, meanwhile, has decided to check next door to Pain Man and has found the Nope Rope Ogopogo, which is just as bad, if not worse, than Pain Man, and so is now backtracking. We'll see if he's going to try to do some levels or maybe find another boss a little bit further back here that's going to be a little bit easier.
That Nope Rope is just immediately noped out of by Fleury. And Moonblaze finds CPU in the back attack. And then we get a ninja shirt from the Dwarf Castle. Not exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah, unfortunately we have not seen a ninja that we can equip that on yet. Looks like Error is now joining Fleury down in the lunar subterrane. We'll see if he has any better luck with either Pain Man or Ogopogo, or if he decides to check any of the other boss spots that are down here.
Certainly going to be fairly displeased when he sees the Pain Man and Nope Rope, but again, one of the best grinding spots, and looks like he's going to go ahead and start grinding right away.
Yeah, Sirens, as we see on both of their screens, will summon these two gold dragons, which is one of the most popular grind spots in the game. They can be stopped with these hourglasses. If Fusoya has weak, the weak spell does work on them. Otherwise, they are weak to things like Artemis arrows and dragon whips, if any of their characters are equipped with those.
On Ordeals, we get Rat Tail, followed by Mom Bomb. This is actually one of the least popular spots you want to see Mom Bomb, simply because she gets to start with an additional 10,000 HP.
Yeah, normally this spot has 1,000 HP or less, but yeah, in this spot, it's got a lot more HP, and it's going to be kind of annoying to get through.
Yes, you never want to see Mom Bomb on Ordeals. Gaming with the Wraith, back at these Baron Guards, making quick work with coffins. But you have a Bahamut summon, you have Quake Kid, Mom Bomb goes down without too much trouble, and now that Fu has Nuke.
Well, that's definitely going to bring his Fusoya online.
And if I'm not mistaken, moonblazewolf has the double Fu, so that's a lot of firepower already on his party.
Yeah, definitely. Whenever Moonblaze does decide to go to the moon or go down to that Odin spot, he's going to be ready to take on, pretty much anything here.
Pain Man will still be a problem, though. Oh. Yeah, Pain Man's still going to be an issue because, he does have that Yang. A couple levels means Yang could just tank through the Pain Man.
Yeah, very true. It looks like Flurry is going to be trying that Pain Man again now that he's gained some levels. So we'll see if he can, get through this. Dark Knight Cecil here, as long as you can survive 3 of his Dark Waves, he'll give a speech about justice and then go away. So it's just a matter of surviving 3 of those Dark Waves.
Which doesn't seem to be the case. And Moonblaze now going to the Dwarf Castle. Gaming with a Wraith is now taking on the Bahamut spot. Well, Ashura spot with Bahamut. There we go. English is hard sometimes. Looks like
I think Flurry had gotten a Cure 3 off on Fu, but was actually a little bit too fast with it. But looks like he does get a Cure 4 off. So we'll see if he can keep his Fu alive for one more Dark Wave here.
nope. This Pain Man is proving to be an interesting roadblock, and Flurry making take 4 on the Pain Man, and Error having to reset from Pain Man.
That was Error's first attempt, so now that he's seen what that boss is, we'll see if he decides to change his setup at all.
Gaming with the Wraith now has his own personal lightsaber, and probably really hoping to find a Cecil.
Moonblaze getting through the bosses here in the Dwarf Castle. Not too difficult with his Fusarias now that they are all powered up with those nukes.
I believe moonblazewolf is rapidly running out of places to check on this Earth, so I'm guessing after Dwarf Castle might make the half tower play. And both Flurry and Error just struggling with this Pain Man.
Error does make it through, though. Yes, so we're about to see.
I didn't see that the Rosa survived. A pink tail and the tower key. That is 2 key items.
Pink tail on this flag set is less useful. It still leads to a powerful item, but since the no adamants flag is enabled, there are no adamant armors available, and that includes from the pink tail. So the pink tail will give a powerful item instead. It could be a piece of equipment, it could be something like the Bahamut Summon, which Rydia, some of our characters at least, or some of our runners at least already has. But the tower key could definitely be useful, since that can be used to open up the cannon room in the Tower of Babel.
So the tower key is potential progress, but the nice thing is, again, with the pink tail, it's still a key item, so it gets you closer to that 10 key item point. So you get, what, double experience? And Era is now taking on the Nope Rope.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he forgot that Ogopogo counters magic with Blaze, or if that was intentional, but casting that Quake with Palom did result in that Blaze counter, which kind of hurt.
That's one of the things with the Nope Rope. He doesn't like magic very much, and that Blaze can hurt.
Yeah, we did see Berserk go off on Rosa, and that probably would have been the best way to get through that fight, but Ogopogo is really mean between the waves, the big waves, and then just the attacks that he does. I don't blame Error for skipping that spot for now. Instead, he comes down to the Ogopogo spot and finds a much freer boss here with the Water Hag.
Water Hag, 3 hits, and it dies. And still setting up the Berserk. Makes sense, because it's going to be able to get... Rosa's probably going to be able to attack faster than you can cast some of your spells, but... Or might only have one error, wants to get that Berserk on Rosa just to prevent himself from using that last arrow.
Very, very true. Meanwhile, Flurry has gotten through the Pain Man spot and is going to be rewarded with the Pink Tail and Tower Key on his screen.
We have 2 hits on Water Hag, and there's the 3rd. Gaming with the Wraith, up on Ordeals, already took quick work of that Baigen, now facing off against CPU. Moonblazewolf, meanwhile, is heading into the Fey March again, going to take on those Fey March bosses in Bahamut and Baron Guards, right?
Yes, Baron Guards is in the Leviathan spot. Error, meanwhile, from that Water Hag has gotten the Pan, which you can take down into the Sylph Cave in the underground, hit Yang with it, and get 2 potential key items, one from the Sylphs themselves, and then one if you take the Pan back to Yang's wife, Sheila, and turn it back in. So that's a pretty nice find. We'll see if he decides to go do that right now, or if he's going to try to clear the rest of the moon first.
That's an interesting choice. You could certainly... he is going back to Earth. Gonna leave that Pale Dim Wyvern spot, and the Bahamut spot, along with not able to take out the Nope Rope.
He does have both the Tower Key and the Pan, so he can full clear Tower and, get the from Sylph Cave now.
Certainly is the case, and like Supremacy said, probably check in to see if Sheila has the goods right away. That's 2 very quick and easy key item check. Gaming with the Wraith finishes off the Mount Ordeals, rewarded with his Rat Tail.
Still have not found the hook, so right now the Rat Tail is again counting as a key item, but can't actually be turned in for anything. If our runners find the hook, they can take the Rat Tail to the Adamant Grotto and turn it in for another potential key item check.
Sylph's having a life staff. That's actually really nice.
Yeah, especially for this party that's so mage heavy. And if Error still has a Rosa, I'm pretty sure he does. That'll be real nice, at least for the final Zeromus fight, if he wants to use her as a mage, casting White and Cure 4.
Certainly is the case. Life Stick is the best staff for your white mages. It increases your will stat by 15.
Looks like we may be getting an encore to music on Gaming with a Wraith's screen. Looks like he is going to be heading into Cave Magnus.
Speaking of the hook, we have hook from Sheila too, so unfortunately Era does not have that rat tail yet.
So Error found the hook, but no rat tail, and Gaming with a Wraith and Moonblaze have the rat tail, but no hook.
So now the question is what do you do? There's still a lot of places you can check. And once you've abandoned Moon like Era did, you really don't want to go back to it. So yeah, I like this. Going straight over to the tower.
Yeah, definitely. There are 2 more checks in here. The top of the tower, which I don't think anyone's gone all the way, has gone into tower at all. And then the cannon room, which Error can open up since he did find that tower key when he was up on the moon.
This is certainly the case, and Error, like I said, heading straight up tower. With that tower key, he's not going to have to double dip here.
Fleury going to try this nope rope again. It's given both him and Error trouble, so we'll see if he can get through this fight.
Looks like he's got himself set up a little bit better using reflect strats, so now he's not going to get that counter blaze.
Yeah, very nice. Using a wall or a veil on one of his characters and then reflecting spells with his black mages off of that wall so that he doesn't get the blaze counter from Ogopogo. Very, very nice.
Ooh, that's a Val.
Ooh, here on Error's screen, we're at the top of Tower of Babel. Belvalis is a pretty mean boss. Do you know right off the top of your head, Tirasu, is this a spot that will evade magic?
I am about 80% that she does here. I don't remember. I can't remember all the spots she evades because usually when I see her, I choose to look the other way.
Yeah, even if she doesn't evade magic, she's still a very nasty boss. I think that she... Oh, I thought that she evaded Quake either way, but apparently not. That Quake did hit for plenty of damage, so it looks like he may be okay in this spot.
Certainly is the case. Looks like he's going to be okay. Just has to survive. This spot does have quite a bit of HP, though. Gaming with the Wraith, giving us music, now fighting the Rubicant spot. Or Dark Elf with Rubicant. And moonblazewolf is now on the moon.
Fleury is making his way through this nope rope here on the moon. Doing pretty well, keeping his party alive, surviving all these big waves and attacks with blinks and cures from his rosas.
Yeah, once you get those blinks set up, it's just surviving the big wave, and that does a quarter of your HP per big wave. And he alternates whether he's going to do 1 or 2, and when he does 2, it takes off half of your maximum HP right away.
Yeah, that's why this boss is so rough no matter where you find it. Even if you see it in a low attack or a spot where normally the bosses are pretty easy, this boss is pretty rough.
This certainly is the case. Blaze chooses to go to Bahamut early, so finds that plague.
Looking for value in Cave Bahamut here. Fleury did get through that Ogopogo. We're going to see if there's any value here. Finds a Sand Ruby, so can get another Fusoria if he decides to go back to Kaipo.
I mean, triple mop's not a bad thing. But at this point, I don't think you would want to go get another one. And I missed it. Did you catch what Error got from Val?
I did not, actually. I did not.
Oh, a power robe.
Oh, that's, nice.
It exists. If he had the Yang, it wouldn't be too bad. Odin behind Tower Key, that's nice. He's pretty easy there.
That's a great spot to find Odin, because Odin in a different spot can be really, really rude and mean.
Odin at Bahamut, just saying.
Right, yeah.
Or Odin at D-Lunars, that's a favorite of mine.
Odin at Rubicant, if you have to go through a hook seat, is pretty mean, too.
Wyvern spot has the Dark Elf. That's a really nice spot for Dark Elf to show up because Dark Elf is never really threatening, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, this is usually a pretty easy fight to get through, especially in a spot like a moon boss location like this. If you can get Dark Elf to turn into the Dark Dragon, then it's even easier because then you can use things like hourglasses and the weak spell, things like that.
Alright. Gaming with the Wraith is also diving that Earth Crystal, taking on the Asura, sets up the Reflect. And Era is now leaving Lower Babel.
We're going to see if there's any value here in Cave Bahamut. Got the Luca key. Oh, and there's the Legend Sword.
So, we are in Commentator No mode. Not quite anyone in Go mode, though.
Era going straight back to Baron, though.
This is a good choice. Could very well take on that Wyvern and get Adamant. Meanwhile, Flurry now on the Dark Dragon part of the Dark Elf.
Looks like he's got Artemis arrows on one of his characters there that's going to just rip through this fight.
Certainly is the case. Turns into a dragon, Artemis arrows, dragon whip, dragon lance, really makes this fight trivial. And like that, is through it. So I think the only item we don't know where it is the package.
Yeah, looks like that's the only one that we have not seen yet.
Era does manage to get that first Star Veil off on that Palom. There's the wall from Wyvern.
Ooh, it's going to be tight to see if he can get his characters up before they start wiping.
Oh, Palom tanks a nuke. I think he's going to be fine now.
Yeah, that was fortunate that his Palom was able to survive that first nuke.
The Rose is not going to survive it, though. Moonblazewolf going to check Peldim first. Oh, that's a Kainatsu. That's not something you really want to see. Kainatsu, while this is not the most dangerous spot for him, is still going to be a little bit rough. Yeah,
Kainatsu is another one of those bosses like Ogopogo that you kind of don't want to see. He's easier in certain locations, but in locations that have high hit points like this, he's going to be rough because that wave is based on Kainatsu's current hit points. So the more hit points that the spot has, the more damage that the wave is going to do.
It certainly is the case. And even if you break the water, if he's already got it queued up, he's going to hit you with that wave, and it hurts. Era looks like he's having a little bit of trouble now.
Ooh, those nukes are coming fast. Oh, but that one just missed.
That's very lucky.
Looks like Gaming with a Wraith is just about to follow Error here in this Wyvern fight.
And Flurry takes the reset to Kainatsu. And there's the reset on Era's side. Just couldn't recover.
That's unfortunate. Unfortunate for Gaming with a Wraith as well, who is not able to get a Veil up before the initial Mega Nuke came out.
Yeah, and just noping away from it. What are you doing? Go back.
That's unfortunate when we see that as the audience and we know that that's where he needs to be. And now we see him going also where we know that he needs to be, but not with the right item in hand.
Oh man. Gaming with a Wraith. gonna be very, very sad when he finds out what the progression is.
Mm-hmm.
Moonblaze takes out the Kainatsu.
Nicely done. Just a glass helm for his trouble.
So at this point, the only thing we don't know is what's behind Rat Tail, which, based on what we do know, should be the package.
I think it could also be behind the Luca key.
Oh yeah, we have Luca Key. I forget that item exists sometimes because I never want to do it.
Yeah, it's one of those checks that sometimes baits people because nobody ever wants to really do it. But when there's something there that you really need, then, nobody ever wants to go down there, but then you have to go down there.
That certainly is the case. I mean, Luca Key is just a very long check with what potentially could be a very difficult boss. And Error is still having some trouble with this Wyvern. It looks like Flurry is about to wipe to play. There's a Cure 4 from Rosa. Get everyone up. And Flurry. Ooh.
That was, kind of on the edge of your seat there, nail biter on that, on Flurry's screen.
Oh, I guarantee you he was having a heart attack during that, because when you see everyone at 0, unless they're berserked and got some pretty nice speed, you're probably gonna die.
Looks like Error is having a much better go on this Wyvern fight. Has everybody up, and there we see Wyvern going down. He's about to get his second piece of go mode here.
He has the pass, pretty close on levels, and now has the go mode. Just needs to go forge the crystal. Meanwhile, we have moonblazewolf taking on the Dark Elf at Wyvern. And it looks like gamingwithawraith is finally going to head up to the moon. So that half-moon play from Error really paid off tonight.
It really did. That's not a common play. Most of the time, if a runner goes to the moon, they're going to want to full clear it. Just because, as you said earlier, Tirasu, you don't want to go back up to the moon if you've already been up there and then you come back down to the planet. But once in a while, you see a play like this where somebody gets an item like the pan, or in this case, it was the tower key, and they make the play, and it's the right play to make.
It's a highly risky play, but it paid off. I mean, it also kind of made sense because there wasn't very many key items left for Error. He had Tower Key and Pan, which was 4 fairly easy and fairly quick checks to make, and certainly easier than the moon itself. And
yeah, definitely.
we still don't have a finisher yet out of our 4 runners, but this is literally Error's race to lose.
Yeah, Error is now in go mode. He has the crystal, which he needs in order to defeat the final boss. He has the pass, which he needs to get to the final boss. It does look like he needs a few levels to be able to defeat the final boss. But he's grinding right now. That's what we see him do with these eggs. He'll probably spend, 5 minutes grinding, and then he'll be able to go.
I don't even think he's going to need that long. He's got more than 10 key items. These eggs will get those levels fairly quickly. Though, when they hatch, that kind of slow things down. And now Fleury, I don't think he finished the Kainatsu, but choosing not to do it, going to check out...
He's going the wrong direction. He's going down to Sealed Cave instead of up to Tower.
Thing is he'll be able to save here and just save scum the item.
Yeah, the one thing about this is even though it is a long check, we talked about that earlier, you have to run all the way through this cave, but when you get to the end of it, you can check the item before you have to fight the boss, and when he finds out that it's nothing, this might be package, but even if it's package, I imagine he's going to reset out of that. He'll be able to reset and then load up his save that's right outside the cave here, and then move on from there.
Most certainly, even if it is package, definitely going to reset. There's no point in taking package, especially since we've already found demist.
Yeah, the only reason that anyone might take something like package or check the boss here is if a runner feels like it's going to be a demist hunt and they haven't found demist yet, but we found demist right away, so that's not the case.
And it looks like some of our runners are pretty happy that this did still kind of turn out to be an invulnerable jet seed, even with the one really nasty troll with Wyvern. Alright, moonblazewolf takes out the Pangman, now onto his nope rope.
So Moonblaze has sort of half of go mode here. We know that the tower key leads to the Legend Sword. Has Moonblaze even done... I think he did Baron Castle, didn't he?
He's done Baron Castle, but he did not check the Odin spot. And Fleury just immediately noped out of Luca Cave. So he just has Ordeals, Twin Harp, and Tower left. Probably going to go to Tower and be in go mode.
That was the package that was at the end of the Sealed Cave, so now we have seen all of the key items, but again, there's no reason for anybody to take the package at this point.
Especially in a race of these stakes, it's literally these four runners. First place gets 4 points, whereas fourth place only gets 1 point, and only the top 12 of our runners from the top 32 are going to advance, with the remaining up to the 20th place a chance to advance.
Right, everyone will have 4 races now that they are going to be running in against different opponents. This is the very first race, so as Tirasu said, whoever has the most points after their 4 races, the top 12 will move on. So everyone's, looking for a first place finish in order to get the most points possible here.
moonblazewolf gets the Sand Ruby, just has the Water Hag left, and Fleury now taking on this Vow fight. And it looks like Error is done with scrambling eggs, probably heading straight to the Z fight. So Maggie, there is a particular question we like to ask. Once he gets there.
It looks like he might have a little bit of chopping to do, so we have just a little bit of time yet before we get there. Let's do a quick shout out to our restream team. We've got Invenerable restreaming tonight and Elias tracking. Thank you so much to our team for helping us put these races together. Of course, without them, we wouldn't be able to broadcast these great races for you and put on a show for you like we're able to do.
And of course, Invenerable is the one that rolled our lovely seed, so always great to see more people doing these restreams. It's a lot of fun. Huge thanks to him for stepping up and doing the restream tonight, and great work from Elias doing tracking.
Yeah, and thanks to RPG Limit Break for allowing us to run our league on their channel. It's been a great partnership that we've had with them, and we really look forward to being able to run the rest of our matches with them.
All right, Flurry takes out the Vow, and Gaming with Wraith gets that Luca key and immediately comes down here. Moonblazewolf now has that pan. And Era just doing a couple last-minute adjustments for his party for this fight. Rydia did not get Nuke, but is going to be an amazing agility anchor with that Cursed Ring.
Interesting play to not give Nuke to one of your nukers, or someone who could potentially get Nuke. But yeah, he's got a very good party set up regardless here.
Well, it honestly does make sense at this point. You have Nuke on your Palom, you've got White on your Rosas. You need an agility anchor. Why waste the time to finish grinding Rydia, even though it would only be like one egg, when you're still going to have someone with that Cursed Ring to manipulate the agility?
Yeah, and she takes a lot more XP to get up to level than like Palom does.
Flurry.
All right, so
go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it's about time to ask that question you were talking about earlier.
Whose butt are we going to kick tonight? Do you have any preferences for sprites?
How about Discord Miss?
That's a good one. I am a personal fan of Bardmus.
Oh, that sounds like a good one.
I'm not spoiling what it looks like because it's been my absolute favorite I've ever gotten. Kaipomus is another good one.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one. Oh, maybe I have seen a screenshot of it, but I haven't gotten it myself.
That was the second Z-Sprite I've ever gotten.
We're about to find out. His true colors are emerging.
Ah, a Mewtwo-mus.
It's a random Pokemon in space.
At least, ooh, that's a very fast Aromas.
Wow, very fast.
But Flurry is now in go mode as well. Turning in that Adamant, turning in that Legend.
Yeah, he's going to be right on Error's tail here.
Ooh, eats the counter nuke from the Silk Web. But as Simbu pointed out, no nuke on that Rydia, so having to make use of the virus spell.
Looks like, meanwhile, Moonblaze is doing some grinding on the moon, and Gaming with a Wraith is trying to get through this Kanyazum that's in the Pildim spot.
Moonblazewolf probably just wanting to get his grinding done here because it's going to be a little bit faster than doing the eggs and more experience. Yeah, there was nuke on Palom.
Flurry doing some egg grinding now that he's got the crystal from his Legend and Adamant.
Ooh. Mop is down on Error's side. But with these reflects, whites, and nukes, shouldn't be too much trouble. Even with that Silk Web, though, that's still a pretty fast fight.
Looks like he's trying to get that second Fusaria up. This is going to be kind of tight to see if he's going to get through this before the second Big Bang.
Believe he has a Cure 4 queued up. Yep, there it is. So his Rosa on the bottom should most certainly survive. Both Rosas should survive, so he should be okay. Moonblazewolf checking out the pan first. Oh, Fu lives too. That's awesome news to have.
gamingwithawraith having a little bit of trouble with this Kanyazu.
I mean, at this spot, Kanatsu is pretty rough. It just... Alright, it looks like our error is reset up. Got the Reflect on Rosa, got some nukes going. Should have this fight pretty much in the bag now. There's the flash.
There's the flash.
Error coming in first place, winning 4 points with a time of 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 9 seconds. GG to him.
GG to Error, taking first place in the first of our qualifier matches. Fleury is right on Error's tail, heading up to Troya now, about to utilize the pass and find out whose butt he's about to kick.
Meanwhile, we're going to see if we can get Error in here for an interview. Alright, Moonblazewolf. He is going to go check that rat tail. Probably the only thing we don't know.
Yeah, I don't think anybody else has both the hook and the rat tail to check it.
And to answer a question in chat, the reason why Error has 2 roses, this game is randomized, so you have random characters. And in this case, you would be allowed to have multiple characters. And we are now joined by Error. GG and congratulations on first place.
Thank you.
GG. Nicely done with your routing and decisions that you made tonight.
Well, like a lot of randomizer seeds, especially with this flag set, there's a lot of decisions you can make, and I just got lucky and I made the correct decision, even though there's not necessarily wrong decisions.
My favorite thing you did, though, was the kind of half moon play and just immediately left once you had Tower Key and Pan. What was your thought process doing that? That's kind of a very unique play.
So as soon as I saw the Tower Key, it's like, well, at least Moon maybe wasn't for nothing. And then it's just like, but I'll generally leave Moon if I get 2 chain items up on the moon. That was kind of my plan, and so when I found that pan, it's just like, hey, that's 3 checks that probably there's a decent chance no one else has. If even one of them works out, then I've got a pretty good chance. If not, you go early moon and there's nothing on the moon, and then you lose horribly. But it worked out this time because it was the Tower Key that had something.
Tower Key and then Wyvern at Odin.
So, first off, when I turned in the pan at Sheila, it was like, and got the hook, and it's like, oh no. It was like, please be rat tail, please be rat tail, please be rat tail. But if Wyvern wasn't going to work out, I would have probably gone back to Moon and checked for value at Bahamut. But Wyvern had the adamant, so off I went.
Oh yeah, that Wyvern certainly had it. Fleury actually found adamant right away from doing the Baron Key a little bit earlier than everyone else. And just so you know, the Rat Tail was on Mount Ordeals. And Rat Tail obviously led to nothing. Package was behind Luca. But, any other thoughts on this seed or the flag set, the tournament?
Where was my mage equipment? I didn't have very much of it.
Yeah, it gave you a real nice mage party, and then it looked like everybody was kind of struggling for good mage gear for most of this run.
Now, mages are a lot less gear dependent than physical fighters, but still, it would have been nice to have had something better than a little staff. And I guess my roses eventually had both having a staff, but and then also I was very sad Rydia did not hit level 50 with that last siren.
Did you just run out of sirens at the end there, and that's why you decided
ran
to
out,
go?
and they were on the moon, so that was another reason I went moon when I did, is because there's no sirens to be found, and so they were either on moon or they were in Evelyn. If they were in the seed at all, but I think they were almost guaranteed. I don't know for sure, but went up there, did a little bit of a grind, found the pain man, but those cure 3s I bought super early turned out super well, because I don't know if cure spells are instant or whether they have a charge time. I know items are instant, but I don't know if cure spells are.
I believe Cure 4 is fairly close to instant, and Cure 3 has a little bit of a cast time, but yeah, a couple of people did struggle with that Pain Man initially, but you didn't have nowhere near as much trouble. And Supremacy letting us know Cure 4 is instant, Cure 3 and lower are not instant cast.
So I could have probably saved the Cure 3 item right there, but ultimately it didn't matter.
You got through it, and that was probably the main thing on your mind at the time.
Right.
Alright. Any final thoughts, or?
I'm glad to get a win here, just because I know I've got a couple of really strong matches coming up pretty soon. So I need all the points I can get right now.
Taking first, getting that in the first match, getting 4 points is definitely a good way to try to clinch one of those first 12 spots. So GG, very well played.
Thank you.
And GG to Error taking first in our qualifier tonight. And we see Fleury is in the Zemus fight in the running for 6 right now, since he's the only other one who has it looks like that's the Flash. He has now come in second place, so GG to fleury14.
GG, well played, taking second place and 3 points with a time of 1 hour, 31 minutes, and 24 seconds.
So that will award Fleury with 3 points for coming in second place in tonight's match.
And these points are very important. You need to get as many as possible to clinch one of those top 12 spots. Meanwhile, moonblazewolf now diving that Luca key. And we are joined by fleury14. GG, well played tonight.
Oh, that was a little nerve-wracking, but thank you very much. That was better than last night's seed.
GG Fleury. You were actually the first of our on-stream, of any of our forerunners to find that wyvern at Odin and collect your adamant. What were your thoughts when you found your first piece of go mode?
I was really hoping that there would be something like the Legend Sword would be in one of the Feymarch spots, and we could actually end up with a League Seed that was sub-hour. That would have been pretty hot. But to be like, because Cursed Ring was kind of in a spot that I felt that everybody else was going to get, I figured even if you don't always want to check Odin with an early party, once you get Fu at Baron, you're probably gonna check it before like you at least go to the moon. So I kind of figured that everybody else was gonna get the adamant pretty quickly. I was more worried about the moon or swoon working out, and fortunately it did.
Yeah. So Pain Man, how was that fight?
That was more like watching me make like 4 consecutive mistakes. I thought I could squeeze a Cure 3 in time, but the cast time was a little more than I thought, and then every time I'd fail and go back in, I'd forget to set the battle speed, so I'm like, whoops, that wasn't very smart. And then once I got Cure 4, I knew it was fine. Yeah, that was just me kind of a little bit of nerves, but just usual flurry mistakes that I tend to make here and there. But I was actually pretty happy to see him there, because I knew, like, even if I would have messed up a 3rd or 4th time, I kind of feel like I know the win condition for that fight. I was a little more worried about the Ogo fight with the 5 mage party. That can be pretty nasty.
Oh yeah, that Ogo fight was that moon was a mix of being very rude and very friendly at the same time.
Yeah, there were some very difficult bosses, and then there was some freedom. I was a little worried about whether or not I should go back and try to take on Kinazo. That was just me kind of falling asleep at the wheel a little bit and not soak webbing right away. If I had gotten the first soak web off, I think I would have been able to Thor Rage. And I thought, oh, well, we have a lot of hit points. Maybe we can heal through it. Oh, Fu got hit. So that was one of the gambles between that and leaving Gauntlet alone. Did any of the other 3 runners take on the Gauntlet?
Yeah, everyone else did Gauntlet, I believe, and it led to a white shirt.
Well, it would have been nice to have, but not worth that amount of time. I figured with seeing where the Adamant was, if I didn't see a finish within like an hour 5, hour 10, that I was pretty safe to leave the Gauntlet alone.
Yeah, it certainly paid off not doing that Gauntlet, and then you also skipped Ordeals, which would have led to the Rat Tail.
Okay. Yeah, there wasn't... I didn't see a Cecil nor an Excalibur, usually, or a Tella, until it was too late, and those are usually the 3 conditions for me going up to Ordeals. So yeah, I was actually very happy with the amount of content I ended up being able to leave on Earth. Just cleaned up a couple fights. I did get really lucky on Hobbs, and I got pretty lucky on the Ogo fight, and fairly lucky as well a little bit on the Z fight. I'm not used to doing a Curse Ring Anchor, but after I saw Error done, I was like, I don't have time to get ready to nuke. I gotta go right now.
It certainly paid off. Taking 2nd place and a fairly solid run, nothing to scoff at. Any final thoughts on the seed or the tournament itself?
I'm super excited. This was one of the races where I thought I'd be pretty happy with 3rd place. Like, there's no real easy races here, but like all 3 of these guys are super good. So coming out with the 2nd place is, you know, I'm definitely happy with that. And then looking forward to the next race. I appreciate you guys on commentary and tracking, except for that restreamer. I hear we blame him for stuff, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that.
Yeah, he gets blamed for everything. GG, very well played, Flurry, and looking forward to seeing more of your race.
Alright, thank you very much, guys.
GG, Fleury. Thank you so much. That was fleury14 coming in 2nd place in tonight's league match and getting 3 points in the league overall. Again, this is the first of our league matches. The second one, for those of you who have been asking in chat, there is going to be another league match tomorrow night. I'm going to have to check the time, though, because I don't...
Tomorrow night at 10 Eastern, I'm actually going to be our restreamer.
That's right. Tirasu would know because Tirasu is restreaming tomorrow's match, and it's going to be right here on RPG Limit Break. So make sure you tune in, and that's Eastern time, so 10 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow night.
It's going to be another good one, so certainly tune in and looking forward to seeing all of y'all there. Meanwhile, Moonblazewolf finally in go mode. Already did his grind, so should just need to go get that crystal and head straight to the Mewtwomus.
Excellent. And for anyone who has joined us recently, Supremacy brings up something interesting in chat as well. If anyone is maybe new to Free Enterprise or maybe didn't make it into the league, we actually have another event that's going to be starting pretty soon here, the Hummingway Open. It is sort of a junior league for anyone who did not make it into the Highway to the Zemus Zone League. It's the same flag set, but only for participants who are not part of the Highway to the Zemus Zone. So you're not going to find the top runners like these 4 runners and the other runners who have made it into the main league. So if you're newer to the community, newer to running races with us, or maybe tried to get into the Highway to the Zemus Zone but didn't quite make the cut, check out the Hummingway Open. All the information is on our Discord. It looks like Invenerable just pasted the rules and sign up in the chat. Come and check it out.
Certainly, there's going to be it's going to be a lot of fun. I know I'm probably going to compete. I believe you're competing as well, Maggie.
I am, yeah. Both of us, Tirasu and I, did try to get into the Highway to the Zemus Zone. Didn't quite make the cut, so we're gonna try our hand at the Hummingway Open instead.
And I'm always looking forward to playing with new faces. It's a lot of fun. Even if you're not interested in competing in the Hummingway, come check us out on the Discord. This is a lot of fun. Everyone is very friendly, very helpful, and just trust me, it's worth your time.
Yeah, we have lots of fun events going on the Discord. Just yesterday, there was a Router's Relish showcase where the runners could run the seed as many times as they wanted to and find the best route and get the best time before they actually posted their time on the Discord. There's a Seed of the Week where you can kind of compete against other runners in a seed, but you don't have to stream it live. You can just kind of take your time doing it. Yeah, so definitely check out our Discord if maybe you're kind of just lurking here on the channel.
All right, Moonblazewolf now into his own Z fight. Unlike the others, does have that Yang, so will have a little bit of physical damage, or could certainly use him for being an alchemist. Ooh, that's looking like a very fast Zemus as well.
I think he does have a cursed ring on his Yang, but it looks like Yang is pretty high level anyway, and he gets a lot of agility, so not sure what his agility is at.
I unfortunately did not get to take a look, but it looks like gamingwithawraith going into Lower Babel for the second time with that tower key.
Should be coming out of here with the Legend Sword. Hopefully we'll be on the right track to get that Adamant pretty soon.
I believe, other than the Pan, he just has the Wyvern left. Pan will lead to that hook, which will lead to nothing from the rat tail, but there's the silk web. We're gonna nerf that first big bang on Moonblazewolf's side. Supremacy, I'm fairly certain he did dive Luca already. Could have swore I saw him do it. And as you can see, Moonblazewolf is probably not going to have that Yang attack simply because he doesn't want to accidentally get the refill from Zemus.
Yeah, so the way that Zeromus's hit points work here is that he's got, how much is it, Tirasu? Like 64,000?
I believe Simbu told me earlier, and it was 61,000, and at around 40,000, he gets, if you do direct damage him, he gets a refill.
Yeah, that sounds right. But if you, as we've seen on pretty much everyone's Z fight here, if you reflect spells onto Zeromus, he will not get that HP refill. So it's like you don't have to do as much damage, essentially. However, if you do direct damage, like if Yang attacks, he'll get that HP refill. So that's why we see all these runners doing the reflect. Not to mention that if you direct cast a spell on Zeromus, he counters with something nasty as well.
He certainly does. And Simbu correcting me, I am very glad that people with even more knowledge than I have are in chat. It's when you do 45k damage and hit him with a direct hit, he's going to refill back to the 61k and enter his second phase.
And that has to do with the limit to how much HP bosses and enemies are allowed to have. And to get around that limit, they do the refill. It's like a counter that was enabled so that high level bosses like this last boss can have more hit points than was normally allowed without that refill.
Certainly is the case, and you see moonblazewolf not having too much trouble with this Z fight, and gamingwithawraith about to turn in that pan. And there's the flash.
GG to moonblazewolf coming in third and getting 2 points for the first of these first of these league matches, rather.
Certainly is. 2 points for third place, so that means gamingwithawraith will take home fourth place tonight for 1 point.
And it sounds like we have been joined by moonblazewolf. GG, moonblazewolf, and congratulations on coming in third.
Oh, there we go. Thank you.
Mic issues, always fun. So you were the only runner, or the first runner to do a harp check for everyone, so everyone's very thankful for you for that.
I did that and everything else, so happy to validate the seed for everyone.
Certainly did, and nothing to be ashamed of. You ran fairly well tonight. But Wyvern at Odin holding the adamant fort.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm honestly in shock that I'm really going to be curious to see what the other runners did and how they routed things and how they came to that spot, presumably wiped once, and then decided to do it again. I'm just kind of in shock right now, but hey, I did what I did everything all right, ran really well, so it is what it is, and I'm happy to have gotten a good finish.
I mean, even still, you still have 3 more races left, so, and after all, when it came to the qualifiers, you killed it in that one seat.
Oh, I mean, it was so funny because I knew as soon as I saw that early darkness crystal that somebody was going to go early moon, and I know just because me and Fleury were 1 and 2 in that seed that I finished where everything was on the moon, so I suspected at least Fleury would go early moon, so I kind of decided just to play it a little bit more conservatively for a while, and I don't know, I kept whiffing a lot, and then going up to the moon and finding that everything ran through the moon, I definitely thought like I still was in it at that point, so at least that was a really good moment, I would say, in the race for me.
Anyways, So, what are your general thoughts on this tournament right now, or thoughts on this seed in general?
I mean, that was a seed. It was pretty crazy. That's a really good start to the league if they're all going to be this interesting and exciting. So I'm really glad that things worked out, and good job to all the other runners. I'm really, like I said, I'm really curious to just sort of see the excitement of the race, because it seemed like just such an amazing seed with all the options that you had, and then, like you said, kind of the wyvern with the adamant and all the twists and turns. It was just a really cool seed.
It certainly was, and you know, you did Zot, you did Twin Harp, you did Ordeals, and as you know, those 3 checks right there do take some time. So overall, I wouldn't say you played bad at all. You played amazingly well. It's just you ended up making more checks than others.
Yeah, I mean, for a 100% run, that was about as fast as it gets. 2 foos is pretty powerful that way. But I'm really glad I got to check everything, and especially the Twin Harp music. That was a really cool song, so I hope everybody enjoyed it.
It certainly was.
Hey, definitely a runner, a man of the people, when whatever anybody does Twin Harp music. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Thank you as well.
Oh, GG, and looking forward to your next race.
Thanks. Have a good night, everybody.
You too, Moonblaze. Thank you so much for running for us.
All right. Gaming with a Wraith. I forgot that he skipped K-Natso, so now taking on the K-Natso at Pale Dim.
Yeah, this is unfortunate, again, since, you know, we as the audience and viewers know where he needs to go. I think, has he been to the Odin spot and he maybe just doesn't want to go back to that wyvern that's there?
He did take a look, so he does know Wyvern is there, but no doubt of it after the first one. So Wyvern is not the easiest thing to fight in some spots, but certainly now has the levels.
Yeah, as he now has levels, it looks like, to get through this Kanyatso. So he'll get through this. He's just about through it now. We see the Fiend of Water is hiding in his shell, and now he's going down.
And he's gonna be rewarded with, I think, a Masamune? Oh no, the Glass Helm.
Yeah, so he's quickly running out of spots to check. Eventually he's going to be forced to go back to that Wyvern spot, or the Odin spot where Wyvern is waiting with the adamant.
I don't know if he's checked Rat Tail. I didn't see, but I think that's pretty much it. It's just the Wyvern spot. So just wait and see. And while he's doing that, give another shout out to our restream team tonight. Invenerable doing a wonderful job of the restream, of course, rolling this lovely seed for everyone to see tonight. And Elias on tracking, doing an incredible job making sure we know when the runners actually find an item, because we're not perfect and we miss things, so the trackers are very, very helpful and we love them.
Yeah, without our restream team and everybody who volunteers for making these races happen, we wouldn't be able to broadcast them. So always thanks to everyone who volunteers their time and effort to making these races happen. We have a lot of races coming up, so thanks to everyone who is putting in some time volunteering as restreamers, trackers, and commentators for this league coming up.
All right, Gaming with a Wraith. Now back to this Wyvern spot. I'm about 90% certain this is all he has left. Trying to make use of run, and that's a wipe.
likely he's going to have to turn his battle speed down and possibly manipulate the agility of whoever is in the center spot to make this work, because I think that's what everybody else ended up doing as well.
So I want to point out something that Gaming with a Wraith just did. He put on Rydia the bow in her right hand and the arrows in the left hand. And why that's actually an issue is characters have a dominant hand when it comes to bows and arrows. So whenever you equip them, you want the arrows in your dominant hand, and in this case for Rydia, that would be her right hand. So he's actually going to lose some DPS from that.
He could also be putting the bow on her. That was an Artemis bow, I believe, that he put on her. That's going to increase her speed. Yeah, as we see, she did at least get her menu up before the Mega Nuke went off. Now, she wasn't able to get the veil off before the Mega Nuke went off, but that Artemis bow does increase agility. So even though he wasn't able to quite get it to get a turn off with her, he may have just been doing it just to get the agility boost on her.
Certainly could be possible, but did equip Artie, so it'd still be much better to put that bow in his left hand.
Yeah.
But like you said, the Artemis bow does give you a agility boost, plus 15 if I'm not mistaken, along with plus 15 to strength and vitality.
He has now dropped his battle speed all the way down to 6. That's probably going to help a lot. So we'll see now if he can get at least 1 star veil off before the Mega Nuke goes off.
And still just not quite able. I think he needs to take a look at what Palam's agility is.
We see him run buffering, which can help as well. Although with a battle speed of 6, it's not helping so much.
Unfortunately, Gaming with the Wraith did forfeit, just not quite able to handle that Wyvern, but overall still GG, well played on his part.
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, he was going to get 1 point regardless. Forfeits get 1 point, and he was going to come in 4th place regardless, which was going to be worth 1 point. So he'll still get that 1 point even though he did forfeit.
I'm gonna just do a double check, see if he's willing to do an interview. All right, and he is going to join it. Gaming with the Wraith is going to join us for an interview. Get him in here as soon as possible. But while we're waiting on him, don't forget we do have a match tomorrow at 10 Eastern. And now we are joined by Gaming with the Wraith. Sorry about that Wyvern, but overall still pretty good running on yours.
Yeah, I gambled. Stuff wasn't going to be up on the moon, and it just didn't work out, so no big deal.
I mean, rando's gonna rando.
Yep, exactly.
So, besides the Wyvern, what were your overall thoughts on the seed?
I thought it was fine. I should have went back and did the Kanazo, because I could have done that back when I first tried it. I just was like, nah, I'll just skip it. I mean, the odds, I need 2 items anyways, and there's way more spots, and then it just kept going lower and lower, and it's like, oh boy, I'm gonna have to do the Wyvern, and I'm feeling it, and it's like at the end it's just like, yep, that was that.
Well, I mean, you're still gonna get 1 point out of it, so nothing to be ashamed of. Like I said, you still ran very well. You just rando got a hold of you too much.
It did, but yep.
Well, this was just the first of 4 matches for you, so you still have plenty of time to recover from the, from this. 3 more matches to go. When's the next of your races? Do you have the next one scheduled already?
My next race is scheduled Tuesday at 10.
All right. Well, do you have any final thoughts before we wrap this up tonight?
Thanks for the restream, guys. Thank you to everyone that ran. GG. Well played by everyone, and I hope everybody has a great night.
Absolutely, you as well. And, even though you didn't quite make it through, you still played very well, and good luck on your next run next week.
Thank you.
GG, and see you next week. And with that, we're going to finish wrapping up our stream. Once again, a shout out to Invenerable doing the restream duties for us tonight, doing an excellent job, of course, making sure everything's running smoothly, and our tracker Elias for doing an amazing job making sure we knew where everything was. And of course, don't forget to follow our runners. They're really putting themselves out there for your entertainment, so make sure you check them out whenever they're up. And don't forget, we have a lot more matches coming up, including the one tomorrow at 10 Eastern between Marth SR, Zilch, Ikir, and Penguinator. So definitely come check that out. And with that, do you have any final thoughts, Maggie?
Just that I'm really excited for this league, and I hope everyone else is too. It's been a pleasure commentating with you, Tirasu, on the first of the official league matches, and I hope that everybody joins us again for the upcoming matches this weekend and going forward.
It's always a pleasure working with you, Maggie. And with that, I think we're going to send you right on over to Kobahi, who is practicing for the races.
Yeah, Kobahi is another one of the league participants. He is in the round of 32, the league matches, and he's practicing, so I think that we're going to send you over to him. So thank you all for joining us tonight for the first of these league matches, and thank you to Tirasu for commentating with me and for all of our runners for running, and I hope everyone has a great evening.
See y'all next time.